There were 21 men on that ridge. By morning, there were more. That's the part I remember most. Not the gunfire, not the heat, not the smell, the count. It was 1968, the Shao Valley. We'd been holding that ridge for 3 days straight. 21 men left in the platoon. Sandbags, mud, rotten logs stacked into firing positions. Everything wet all the damn time. Sweat soaked into your clothes until your skin felt borrowed. Sergeant Ray Thompson kept us together. Sergeant Ray Thompson kept us together. Georgia drawl, calm voice. The kind of man that made you think panic was something that happened to weak people. Thomas Green sat across from me shuffling a warped deck of cards. A kid from Iowa, 19 years old, talked about soya beans constantly, and his mother, and a dog that used to follow him to school that died. You ever think it's too quiet, he asked. Nobody answered. The jungle already felt wrong. No birds, no insects, no wind. Kowalski cleaned mud from his boots with a knife. Ray has checked his rifle beside the sandbags. Ray smoked and slowly watched the tree line. The radio crackled once. Static. Then almost silence again. That's when we heard the clicking. Sharp. Metallic. Close. Click. Not branches. Not equipment. Not rifle parts. Click. Ray looked toward the jungle but didn't move. Another click answered farther downslope. Then another behind us. Measured. Patterned. Signals. Ray stood up slowly. Positions. Nobody argued. I moved to the north edge beside Thomas. Reyes took the southern sandbags. Kowalski moved toward the radio post. The jungle looked normal at first. The figure stepped out of the trees. Walking. Not charging. Even spacing. Even stride. There were only 6 of them at first. No rifles. Uniforms almost correct. But all uniforms. Not just the enemy's uniform. People in civilian clothing, too. That bothered me more than if they'd been completely wrong. The fabric sat strangely on their shoulders. Their boots were too clean. Their sleeves buttoned unevenly. One of them wore a helmet backwards. Small mistakes. Like someone had learned soldiers by description. Thomas whispered beside me, "Sarge?" Ray didn't answer. Thin white smoke curled from one figure's ear. Not steam. Smoke. Like it had a cigarette burning inside of its skull. The figure stopped 30 yards from the ridge. Completely still. No breathing. No shifting weight. And then I saw the eyes. pale blue. Not glowing, just raw. Not blinking. Click. One step forward. Thomas raised his rifle and yelled, "Stop right there." The figure kept walking. The same pace. The same posture. Thomas looked toward Ray. Ray gave one nod. Thomas fired. The round hit center mass. The figure dropped backwards into the mud. Nobody moved. Smoke continued curling from its ear. Its body twitched once, not violently, but correctively. The chest adjusted inward where the bullet hit. The shoulders shifted back into place with a wet mechanical sound. The figure stood back up. Thomas made a noise I thought came from an animal in the jungle. It was not a scream, but something smaller than that. The thing reached him before any of us crossed the distance. It didn't attack. It didn't claw him. It didn't strike him. It placed one hand on his chest. Thomas froze instantly. His rifle slipped from his hands. His back arced once. Smoke spilled from both ears. Thin white streams twisting upward into the jungle air. He had relaxed. Completely. He bent down calmly and picked up his rifle. He checked the chamber, and he turned toward us. His eyes were pale blue now. Empty. "Private Thomas Green," he said evenly. Then the second voice joined underneath it, perfectly synchronized. "Reporting." Ray opened fire immediately. Everyone else followed. The ridge exploded into muzzle flashes. More figures emerged from the jungle. Not running, not walking. Dozens now. Every movement synchronized. Gunfire slowed them. Nothing more. Reyes stabbed one through the throat with his bayonet. The thing grabbed his wrist gently, almost carefully. Reyes stopped moving. Smoke rose from his ears. He turned toward us. "Corporal George Reyes," he said calmly. Layered voice. "Reporting." Click. The sound spread throughout the jungle now. Not loud. Constant. Precise. Like hundreds of metal instruments operating in rhythm. Kowalski backed toward the radio post. "I don't like this," he kept saying. "I don't like this." Ray grabbed the radio handset. "This is Ridge 2-1 requesting immediate confirmation on patrol count." Static answered. Then a voice. Cold. Flat. 22 accounted for. Ray frowned. "We deployed 21. Silence. Then correction acknowledged. 22 accounted for. Every man on the ridge heard it. And every one of us understood something was deeply wrong. The figures continued advancing. One of them looked exactly like Peterson. Peterson had died 2 weeks earlier. I recognized the scar on his chin. The same cigarette burn on his sleeve still. He walked with the same limp, same pale blue eyes, smoke coming from his ears. Click. Kowalski saw him too. "Oh God," he whispered. Peterson tilted his head. "Specialist Adam Kowalski," he said calmly. "I remember your name." Kowalski ran. Two figures intercepted him near the sandbags. They touched his shoulders gently. That was all. Smoke curled upward. Kowalski straightened his posture toward us. "Adam Kowalski," he said. "Specialist. Reporting." The clicking intensified. Everywhere now. The jungle itself had sounded mechanical. Ray kept firing controlled bursts, still calm, still issuing orders. Fall back, reload, keep spacing. Then one of the things reached him. Ray fought harder than anyone. Rifle butt, knife, bare hands. He took one down, then another. Mud and smoke was everywhere. Finally, he placed a hand against his chest, and Ray staggered backwards. For 1 second, he looked confused. Not afraid, just confused. And then smoke slipped from his ears. His shoulders lowered. The tension left his face completely. He adjusted his collar calmly, picked up the radio handset and pressed the transmit key. Click. "This is Sergeant Ray Thompson," he said, layered voice now, perfectly even. "Ridge secure. Click. No casualties. Click. All accounted for." The jungle went silent. Enemies stopped advancing. They turned inward toward the ridge, toward the men they had replaced. Roll call began one by one. Private Thomas Green, present. Corporal George Reyes, present. Specialist Adam Kowalski, present. Every voice identical in tone. Flat, calm, synchronized. I was lying beneath the collapsed edge of the trench by then, covered in mud, bleeding from my shoulder. Not dead, just unseen or ignored. The thing wearing Ray Thompson slowly turned his head toward me. Pale blue eyes looked onto mine. Click. Then he spoke. All accounted for. Something inside me understood the truth. They weren't invading. They weren't processing. They were replacing and improving. This had happened before. It would happen again. The ridge was only another completed assignment. Dawn arrived in gray and cold. The clicking stopped all at once. Complete silence. Then the helicopter blades echoed through the valley. A Huey crested the ridge through the fog. The men assembled immediately. Perfect formation. Uniforms corrected now. Movements clean. Smoke barely visible in the morning air. Ray raised the radio handset one final time. "This is Ridge 1-2, he said calmly. All clear for extraction. The helicopter descended lower. Wind whipped against the sandbags. 21 men stood waiting. Every one of them waved at the exact same moment, perfectly synchronized. For 1 second, all 21 pairs of eyes flashed blue. Then the clicking stopped completely. Finished. Operational. The helicopter touched down, and I realized something was worse than death. This wasn't special. This wasn't an accident. This was procedure. Click. All accounted for. Sleep tight. Or don't. From dusk till dawn.